that changed when I got my PhD was that the people at the front desk now called me doctor. I'm Dr. Carolyn Johnson. I'm a tenured professor at the Tulane School of Public Health and Tropical Medicine, and I've been here for 30 years, and I'm about to make a major life change. I'm on the verge of retirement. I was born and raised in the 9th Ward, and we had a saying that you either succeeded or you went to jail from the 9th Ward. My process of coming here was a little different than most people. I never went to college after I graduated high school. I got married and had 2 children, and at some point I decided that I wanted to get a college degree. I got my BA in psychology, then I got my MS in clinical psychology, and then I got my PhD in applied biopsychology. I took a position with the Bogalusa Heart Study, a research group which was housed at the LSU Health Sciences Center and headed by Dr. Gerald Berenson. Harrison Spencer was the dean at the Tulane School of Public Health and Tropical Medicine. And he made overtures to Dr. Berenson about moving the team and the studies to the School of Public Health and Tropical Medicine. So with one fell swoop, he brought in millions of dollars of research with the Bogalusa Heart Study and the CATCH study. And this became the impetus for changing the entire environment of the school. So I've served under 4 different deans. The school is dynamic, which is a good thing for public health. It's a good thing for the students. The change, I think, brings in new ideas. And I think the students and the faculty benefit from all of these changes.
A non-traditional student, Dr. Johnson did not begin her academic studies until she was in her 40s, after her children were already grown.
So I have 6 great-grandchildren now, and two adopted great-grandchildren. They made demands on my time, but not as much as if I had children at home. And I do respect and admire all those faculty members who have their homes filled with husband and children, because it gives a new dimension to trying to balance the career. I just did what had to be done at the time. And if it took a weekend or working till midnight, then I did it.
Johnson has been involved in numerous research and training programs over the course of her career, including the Bogalusa Heart Study, the Child Adolescent Trial for Cardiovascular Health, also known as CATCH, the Trial of Activity in Adolescent Girls, or TAG, the Tulane Prevention Research Center, and the Center of Excellence in Maternal and Child Health.
Tulane was awarded funding by HRSA for the Center of Excellence in Maternal and Child Health quite a few years ago. Dr. Jeanette Magnus, when she was chair of my department, wrote the first grant to obtain this funding. And this is a training grant for our students. It's a supplemental training grant. It's not a research grant. So when Dr. Magnus went back to Norway, she appointed me as director, and HRSA approved me as director of the Center of Excellence in Maternal and Child Health. I was awarded a $1 million+ grant by the State Board of Regents, where the tobacco industry was required to pay the state's recompense by the state for illnesses related to tobacco. The field needs desperately trained professionals, and I'm especially proud of the role that I've been able to play in helping to train professionals for the maternal and child health field.
Johnson had intended to work with adults in a clinical capacity, but much of her career has actually been spent on research and programs impacting children in public health.
I think some of the most poignant experiences I've had were dealing with young children in elementary schools. We're trying to improve their physical activity. We're trying to prevent them from smoking. We're trying to get them to eat nutritious foods. And I will never forget when we were doing a baseline survey with 3rd graders in Luling Elementary School. some of the young children were having trouble with the nutrition part of the survey. And I was administering the survey, so I was asking them, well, what was the problem? They were having trouble answering questions about breakfast, lunch, and dinner when the only meal they got during the day was lunch. This was on the river, and they mostly came from one-parent families. The parent would work shift work at the chemical plant. They would come home from school, and they would be by themselves, and they would have nothing to eat. Sometimes they said they would have a Butterfinger or a candy bar. And it was a hard lesson for me to learn when I'm saying we try to teach these kids to have nutritious food put on the table, and all they want is any kind of food put on the table. So that is something that has stayed with me, and I think will always stay with me. You learn so much when you work in the schools with children. And as I mentioned to someone before, when I first started studying psychology, I had planned to work with adults in clinics, and my career has been working with children in public health. So that's what I mean about being flexible, but it has been rewarding. It has been wonderful work, and I wouldn't change it for anything in the world.
For a number of years, the school held an annual awards gala.
You know, one of my proudest moments was getting the champion of public health.
Yes.
I wasn't here to accept it, but I was awarded it. For several years, the school awarded certain people in the community and in the school. I think they only awarded one a year. And one year I was awarded the champion of public health, and I got a nice plaque.
Dr. Carolyn Johnson has had a remarkable career. However, it was not always crafted with a grand design in mind.
When the school accepted the research group from LSU, I was offered a position as research assistant professor, and it was take it or leave it. So I took it. I really didn't have a lot of choices. I think it would be better to say that I took advantage of the opportunities that were presented to me. And if there's one message that I could give faculty and students, it's to be flexible, to recognize and accept the opportunities that come your way. I know people who have made up their mind exactly what they want to do with their career and with their life, and they have blinders on and they go to it and they make it happen, and I admire those people tremendously. I was not one of those people. If you're not sure of where you want to go with your career, open up the room for opportunities. Try different things and be flexible, because you never know what's going to happen around the corner. So everything works out for the best. I think that the new programs that Dr. Levice is instituting for the school are far-reaching, and I think are going to benefit the school. I will be watching from the sidelines, and I think it's a very exciting time. It's an exciting time for public health, not only because of the pandemic, which has brought public health to the forefront of the population, but also just the enhancement of public health itself and the awareness of the public about public health. Because when I came to work at this school, my family and none of my friends knew what public health was. I wasn't sure I knew what public health was, because my training was not in public health. But that's the great thing about public health. It's an eclectic field, and all kinds of skills can be brought to bear. In my retirement, I'm going to continue to do manuscripts and consult on grants, and hopefully spend time with family.